we are at the most important call of the day. It's not a call. It's a voicemail, and then it's a call from a guy named Jerry. Now, we all know who Jerry is. Do you know who Jerry is? Luigi, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry you caught me. I thought I had a chance to eat.
Anyway, pretend like he just totally agreed with me.
Okay, so yes, I know who Jerry is, and I learned something about Jerry 2 weeks ago.
Jerry
All right,
Lane?
well, hold on to that. Hold on to that fact.
Okay.
And we'll talk about it afterward. Write it down. Make sure you don't
Understood.
forget. Here we go. Hey, Tom. No, we're good. He hasn't made any tips in weeks.
Eric's in Michigan making some
Yeah,
weird phone calls to me. The guy said, hey, Eric just made a weird phone call. I said, let me guess, he's pissed that I hung up on him the other day.
Yes, we all remember when Eric got hung up on. This was what I was talking about, how angry he was.
Isn't that always the case?
I figured he'd be, yelling at you on email.
What's going on?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm confusing myself. Sorry. Just play it. I'm sorry. I confused myself, and I'm very glad you stopped me from talking. So,
Yes,
I was going to say something that we hadn't talked about yet, and I would have really made an ass of myself. So, thank you for stopping me.
Yeah. See, every once in a while.
Or voicemail.
After that. I got it for you right here.
Hello, you big-nosed jackass. What the fuck was the point of hanging up on me this morning?
It's already great.
You rude-ass piece of shit. Don't you ever fucking do that again.
Do you understand the mind frame he is in right now? He thinks he is the mob capo de capo. He's the boss of bosses.
I was trying to get to another point, and then all of a sudden...
Isn't it weird when a midget tries to be like a tough guy?
See, even this is, what? Precog. That's some precog right there. They say, what a tough guy. He's a little gangsta.
Doesn't work. Like, if that was Chuck Zito saying it to me, it's a whole different thing. Goddamn right, I'd be apologizing.
Block him.
Bob. Fuck you. You annoying sack of shit. Don't you ever do that again. That was uncalled for. No fucking reason to do that to me. I had more to say, and I've had more to say for 2 or 3 weeks. That was my first time to get on the show in 2 or 3 weeks. And you abruptly hung up on me. You know, there are people thinking that I'm not calling the show because instead of you take my calls every morning, I've called you.
Pause it for just a second. That right there is just quintessential Eric quality that no one has ever had before or after that is so unique to Eric, which is he was so concerned about what people on social media thought, regardless of whether they were fucking with him by saying they thought it. If he had an idea cross his mind that fans or social media out there thought something about him that wasn't true, he was so passionate to try to fix it.
Yes.
Or correct them. And that no one, except maybe John Melendez, has been that stupid.
Yes, their own worst PR team.
Yes, that's a great way to say it. Yeah.
Yeah, they're all, yes, definitely. Eric was pioneered that, but also pioneered in a time like he didn't have a lot to sort of look out and see, these are trolls and comment sections. This is how it works. He was like point of the spear, And so he was like, wait a second, this social media thing, maybe you can make yourself look perfect. He didn't understand that the other thing that came with sort of this fame was all the people wanting to fuck with him all the time.
Was exposure and making you way more easily accessible to people who didn't like you or maybe just wanted to get a reaction from you. Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't know, and this is the thing you learn too, if you do YouTube. If you're a character in real life and people are attracted to your weird characterness, you're going to be okay on YouTube. If you're just normal, you're going to have to hustle. We're hustling, baby. Even though I'm weird. Not locale weird. I wish I was. Oh, the numbers of locales. Oh, my God. What do I have to do?
Up on me. I'll
rip my shirt off, except actually do it. It's
people thinking
People
that
would want to see
I'm
that too.
I love you, Joey. That was maybe the funniest thing I saw all year. The best thing in 2024 happened 3 days before the end of the year. It's amazing.
not
that was
calling the
sad.
show.
What was that?
I said, "Oh, that was sad." Don't say that was the best thing ever. That was sad.
That was the best wife beater disrobing of 2024.
Of a 7th-month pregnant man.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
but
Now it's funny.
He's gonna have a snicker baby.
Because instead of you take my calls every morning, I called, you leave me the
We're doing like 3 shows right now. Stop it.
I
Let's
know.
get back
I
to
know.
this
I know.
podcast.
I know. I know.
Focus, people, focus.
Back to
this fuck on hold, and people, they don't know that listening to the show, they don't know that I'm sitting on hold waiting for you to pick up my line. As far as they know, I'm asleep or just listening to the show, not calling. Let me on the air and don't fucking hang up on me. Got it?
Got it.
that is you hit on something there. Like no one is like, God, I'm just in the back room here on YouTube and no one's watching me. They're not putting me on screen. This is just ruining everything. That is a uniquely Eric thought.
Yeah.
Like I am being missed by everyone right now, and they're fantasizing about where I am.
My fans want me. My fans want me, and they think I'm dead.
They think I'm sleeping
Yeah.
or living a life, and here I am on hold, waiting to get
Yeah.
on. That is the
And-
that might be the saddest thing he's ever said.
And at no point does it occur to Eric, at least, you know, it never seemed to. I'm willing to admit that we never got the real story, but he literally would post on whatever social media was at the time. I'm pretty sure it was just MySpace, and say, "I'm not dead." And that opened a door to people saying, "Hey, Eric, I thought you were dead." And then suddenly he starts to think everyone thinks that, and that he had all these fans who thought that he was dead. And as if somehow he was going to lose something from them thinking that, he now has to go on a campaign with Howard, and Howard being his only, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess his only medium in order to make a widespread announcement, "I'm not dead." And
Yes.
just no one else has done that. No one else. has been
Proof
that
of life
stupid.
videos
Yes.
are very unique in the broadcasting world. You
It's-
don't run into a lot of people doing them, and
it
Eric
never-
was very unique.
And it never occurred to him, people are just fucking with me.
Yeah.
You know, like that just that.
But it's also how they fuck.
fuck.
So it's how they fuck with you, right? Because now thinking about this is absolutely something that you could do with like Wendy, right? You call Wendy and be like, "Hey, Wendy, we need you to record a video that's saying you're live with today's paper." Okay, like she'd do it for you. Like you could do it, but it's the nature of who Eric is how he got the trolls that he got. You understand? Like the vibrational energy that Eric sent it out was like the fucking trolls that really, really are interested in mocking you came in. and
It's
they did this
ultimately
shit.
just, you're talking about vibrational energy. I think that's a great way to say it. If I could add a little bit more color, it is narcissistic vibrational energy.
Yes.
In which he believes that everyone is obsessed with his status or well-being or just daily fucking life. Like fucking John Melendez. John Melendez
Yes.
talks about what he does during the day. I went to the gym. I put 35 pounds on this machine. Just it's amazing that anyone could think that anyone is interested in something like that. But whatever.
And those,
I guess they do.
let's go one layer deeper, because those kind of people and those kind of creators and stuff, they also trigger in a lot of us, that watch, a helper gene that we didn't know we had. And so we go into these shows and we start suggesting things. Hey, you could make it a little better doing this. We start like helping them. Oh, maybe if you do this, your life will be better. And this is a phenomena that still exists to this day. So when you see someone that's like you're a lolcow or someone that's interesting, and you find yourself in their chat room being like, "Don't do that, do this." All of a sudden, why are you doing that? Because some vibrational thing in their energy triggered your goddamn helper gene. And so sometimes your helper gene can turn into a troll. Sometimes it can turn into an actual producer for a show or whatever. But it is a weird thing that these people trigger something in us that either wants to help them or troll them, but we need to get involved. And so I just think that's an interesting aspect of it, and we will now keep it.
Hey, for those of you who thought Eric isn't calling the show or is asleep, he's on hold.
Thank you, Howard. Thank you for the announcement. That's what we were looking for.
On hold once again.
That is beautiful. Oh, that's so funny.
My ego is satiated, Howard.
I just told you. He's the greatest, isn't he? Eric the Midget. I love him. Doug Goodstein just told me that Howard TV is going to do in the day in the life.
Never happened. God damn you, Doug Goodstein. Never
Of
happened.
Eric?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
I think he's going to...
Honestly, ask Shuli next time you go on the better show than ours, that if they have any of the day in the life Eric stuff, if Doug Goodstein has that saved away anywhere, that if they have it but never made like air, that's the sort of stuff we should see. If that exists somewhere, let's get it out before all the people that control that media are dead and gone, you know?
Okay.
It's a question you can ask on a better show than ours because we just talk about farts
There is no
and
better show
Joey
than-
Bishop's cock. There we go.
be sad.
Well, I do. I still want to see it.
Joey
I'll
Bishop's
watch it.
cigarettes.
Jerry, you're on the air. Nothing wrong with being sad. Go ahead, Jerry.
Hey, how's it going, Howard?
All right.
All right, everyone. Say hello to Jerry.
Huh.
Jerry, yeah, Jerry.
If you're a fan, you know who this is.
Yes, Jerry is the setup for the punchline.
You know, I went to high school with Eric the Midget, and he was such an ass. You think he's a jerk now. He ruined the last couple years of high school because he had the entire place revamped for handicapped people. It was like a 100-year-old building made out of bricks, and he had him put in an elevator for him.
No kidding.
We've
Yeah,
heard this
and the thing-
before.
No,
Haven't we?
No, yeah, no,
I don't think so.
This
I'm
is
just
new
having
information.
deja vu for some reason.
You probably have heard this call if you ever listened to Eric, because this would have been like the #1 search call. So my guess
No,
is
but
that
I
you
never
listened.
listened to Eric, really. I listened to one
Oh.
call when he called in as a Texas guy, Texas Midget.
That's right. We have not listened to this. This is Jerry from his high school. I think we have talked about his high school before, about how he had a buddy in high school that was like a big guy, and they used to go around and kind of like bully people as like a master blaster. So there has been talk of his high school before, but not what Jerry's talking about here, where Jerry's saying they had to take all the stairs and shit away and put in like an elevator to make it ADA compliant for Eric. That's
Electra, I think I know what you're going through, and is what I stopped myself a second ago from accidentally doing. We did talk about this deeply on the other show, so I'm wondering if that's what you're equating this with. 'cause
That
that's
might
what-
be it. Maybe that's what it was.
That's what I did, and I was literally I lost
okay.
my sense of time, and I was like, oh, I was about to start going down a different path that we haven't gone down here yet.
Okay.
fucking better show got us again.
He had him put in an elevator for him.
No kidding.
Yeah, and the thing
What
is,
an asshole.
The worst guy at
it was-
school. What a dick.
I mean, everyone knows who this is for. Now, Eric has a defense, of course, but I just like to think that Eric did all this. I need an elevator to get to 4th period. Man.
regular high school, but...
How did that ruin high school for you?
What's that?
I say, how did that ruin high school?
Imagine because of that construction of those high schools back then, all the students from that era breathed in heavy amounts of asbestos and now have been dying of cancer. And there's a lawsuit by some legal thing that they find out that it was Eric that made that happen. So Eric's part of the lawsuit, his family. Oh, that'd be fun.
For you, I
blame
mean, he
Eric.
got a...
You see those, are you suffering after effects of asbestos? Did you go to high school with Eric the Midget?
Do you want to sue Eric the Midget?
Do you remember those ramps and the goddamn elevator in that high school because of that fucking midget? You might be entitled to his
Well, because they had construction crews going all the time building ramps. Any place you would have stairs, they had to put in ramps. And they couldn't just put in ramps. They had to tear out everything and put in concrete, and it had to be very level.
I see. So while you were trying to learn, let's say, you heard noise in the background. Oh, okay. He is a pain in the ass. Let him stay home.
I need to get to the cafeteria.
I can't hear you. You're putting in a ramp.
We're making way for Eric.
You mean he was
Gilbert.
the guy who...
He's the reason he failed. All his I
Was
went
he-
to
was he
medical
the-
school, not for that goddamn midget.
Think about this room. Howard Stern, Gilbert Gottfried, Artie Lang, Fred Norris. Just a fucking murderer's row. Welcome to hell.
Why you?
Yeah, what was he going to be that got derailed?
Yeah, what happened?
He's the reason I'm a shipping.
Listening to this, Eric's cock was as tiny as Joey Bishop's. Hey,
What do you do for a living now?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm a land surveyor.
I walk around and look at the land.
So you realized your dream.
So what were you gonna be before Eric got in the way?
A brain surgeon.
I was going to run for president.
What were you going to be before Eric built the elevator in your high school? I was going to be a brain surgeon. Now I just survey land. It's all asbestos.
Gilbert was just, I mean, unmatched.
He was a fever dream when he came on the Stern Show.
Yeah,
It was
he
like,
was crazy, huh?
yeah, it would, again, bring the energy to a totally different place where anyone that said anything, it was hilarious. Like, and that's, he was combustible. Like, he brought it into a room, so it made everyone better. Like a John Stockton of comedy, thank you.
He was like laughing gas. Like, when he entered the
Yes.
room, it just made everyone more funny. Like, he brought the the gain level up for a funny.
And here's the experiment. If you just listen to like a section of Gilbert on Stern without sort of listening to the whole thing, you could, out of context, you're like, why is everyone just laughing retardedly? Like they're all just high on ketamine.
Yeah.
But then you go and listen to the beginning from the context and you're like, oh, you have to start at the beginning with this guy to get it. So yes, Gilbert is very sorely missed, as is Eric.
But, you know, that didn't work out. No,
Can you imagine they're up together now? the Eric and Gilbert show.
Eric and Gilbert are sharing brunch in heaven, and Eric's paying.
They're sharing.
That's comforting
they're sharing,
to me somehow. It's very comforting.
They're sharing ladies. Come on.
I would have been president if it wasn't for that midget wanting access to toilets.
and, you know,
Why can't Eric just shit in his pants? Why do we have to put a ramp?
Yeah, just like GJ Electra. Just get a bucket, Eric. Come on.
A diaper.
And it couldn't just be a ramp. It had to be a safe ramp. You had to build railings.
That midget ruined my high school, man. We had to put in ramps for him. Does it bother you that he's more famous than you?
no.
No.
My marks would have been a lot higher if it wasn't for that damn midget.
No, you know, he never left the basement anyway. He didn't need the fucking ramps.
Well, you're obviously very burned by this.
It's cold. It's cooler down here. I get warm up in the top part of the school.
I want to just say real quick, I loved Gilbert so much. Like, Gilbert is one of the few people in my whatever you would just, I don't know, my repertoire of go-to comedy that would just make me laugh, that when he died, I literally considered getting a Gilbert Gottfried tattoo. I ultimately decided against it, but I wanted a Gilbert Gottfried tattoo because I loved him so much, and I really wanted.
He annoyed the shit out of me. I never could handle him.
I understand that was his persona, but what he did on Howard was, I mean, just groundbreaking comedy that made me kind of think, it really opened my brain to thinking, I have these dark comedic moments that I laugh at myself, but I'm afraid to say out loud. He literally made me think it's okay to say that stuff out loud.
Right.
And I felt a real inspiration from him. And then, you know, in such short amount of time, Norm Macdonald and then Bob, why am I blanking? From Full House, Bob Saget died. Yeah, and then I actually talked to a tattoo artist about getting the Three Stooges, but replacing their faces with Gilbert, Norm, and Bob Saget.
Oh,
All right,
wow.
that's the most, okay, now we have officially replaced the steak as the most embarrassing thing that I know.
That would have been disturbing.
You would have had a
Very
Bob
disturbing.
Saget tattoo.
Yeah.
People, you would have had a Bob Saget tattoo.
It would have been like a Hydra monster, but with comedians, those dead comedians' faces.
Yes, because I loved all three of them. Bob Saget made Dirty Work. Shut your mouth.
Bob Saget tattue. Yeah, but how do people know Bob Saget? Do they know him from Dirty Work, or do they know him as like
My friends know him from Dirty Work.
Isn't that the dude that just like introduced every American Up Funny Home Video? What goddamn, why do you have a tattoo on
I
him?
don't even know about that part of Bob Saget. I only know Dirty Work Bob Saget.
Oh, God.
I ultimately decided not to get it, but still.
Yeah. Where are you gonna get Uncle Jesse tattooed?
On the other ass cheek.
Let me give you another visual of what it was like to see him walk.
I was going to be an opera singer, sir, before Eric the Midget came along.
Well, I'm sorry to hear all of that. Thank you.
And I could have studied harder if it wasn't for that teacher yelling so loud so the deaf kids could hear.
Where was your compassion for him, sir? I mean, he is very handicapped.
he'd walk around and
I would have graduated if it wasn't for that Braille reading material.
Now let the guy say. What did you say?
Okay, so he'd be riding around his little motorized wheelchair, and he was a special ed doctor, except for maybe one or two, so he always was hanging around the retards. And so there was this one guy who was probably 6 feet tall, kind of chubby, with hella acne scars, and he'd follow Eric around.
Pocky. It's Pocky.
Like a zombie. Didn't speak.
Harvey Weinstein?
And Eric would
Wait, they're doing construction. You'll have to talk up.
Then he'd go and do something, whatever Eric would tell him, he'd go do it. And then he'd get behind Eric again and follow him around like he was like...
Eric created a real-life Master Blaster situation with a 6-foot tard who didn't speak and had Pocky face. Think about that. That is the exact Master Blaster story. They took off his mask in the ring. And he had a Pocky face. It's the same story. He didn't talk either.
Like Eric was a little evil genius in a wheelchair, and there was this crazy
Wait, sir. You know what? What you said would have been real funny, but they're doing construction. Eric's coming here next week, and we got to build him around.
So in other words, you're saying Eric ruined the high school because him and this other guy walked around, and he would, it was distracting to you.
Motorized around.
He'd yell at people to get out of the way, too.
Get out of my way.
Get out of the way.
Get out. Blaster, get them. Move them.
I'm trying to get by here.
All right, thank you. Let's go to Yucko the Clown.
Hey-o! That's right.
Right.
That voicemail is... What is it, DJ Electra?
In the book.
It's in the books! It's in the books. That's right. ETM pissed he was hung up on. Oh, so pissed. Threatening in tone, not stature. that was funny. Gilbert Gottfried appeared, and we got a little taste of the Godfrey. The thing about the Godfrey is just like a machine gun. It's just going to keep firing. Day in the life of Eric never happened, although we are going to ask the better show if it did happen and if there are clips. Jerry called in. We met Jerry. Now, Jerry honestly sounded totally normal, totally reasonable. There was nothing weird about Jerry. He's a land surveyor. He's like, he didn't want fame. He's just like, I'm telling you what happened at this story. So Jerry has a lot of credibility. Yes. Went to high school with ETM, made some claims about ETM. Eric had the entire high school re-ramped. And then ETM, we always make jokes about Eric, but he is a fucking comic book villain. He really is, from birth. I mean, he has a villain story.
Yeah, he's like mini-me.
Yeah, he created a high school Master Blaster situation with a traitor. It's amazing, Eric. And so those are the calls of the night, people. That's our game over.